So without further ado, we're going to go in for the next 15 minutes and we are going to interview the most improved super heavyweight in the world, a drug-free strict curler. His game has changed. I knew once he got that gopher bar in his hands, he would be a total different curler, and that has happened. I nicknamed the Big Show Joe. I don't know if he likes that. First of all, let's start with that. Big Show Joe, do you like that nickname, brother?
Yeah, that works. That's cool.
It flows, right? Joe, what we want to do is let's talk about your rise here. Let's talk about you had a horrific injury, right? We'll get to that, but you have not been curling long, right? Can you
No.
kind of bring us to the beginning of it and not so much take us through every single event and all that, but just take us through the mental change with you that kind of turned the corner. And I don't know if you heard the show yesterday, but you're a type of guy, you just need more platform presence. You know what I mean? You need more time on that platform. So take us to when this thing started for you and how you got to a point where you're at now, taking on, the biggest super heavyweight name in drug-free curling, the juggernaut.
Yeah, well, I've been lifting my whole life, and a lot of people over the years have kind of asked me, like, hey, well, why aren't you like, doing competitions and stuff? I just never really got into it. Most of the lifting I did was for sports. I was a big track person, throwing the shot and discus in high school and college. But I really just enjoyed lifting and preparing for the sport. Um, it actually started, I'd say, probably in high school or junior high, because I went to Wilson, which out here is a pretty big sports school, and they started doing elective physical education in like seventh grade. So I started doing that, and but as I got older, I did it mostly for sports. Well, after I graduated college and whatnot, I just continued to lift and train, and I was gifted with a lot of strength, and as the internet kind of evolved over the years, I started watching, different influencers like, CT Fletcher, I was a big fan of CT Fletcher. And I started watching like Leroy Walker, the Machine. He's a big influence for me as well. And I was working out at a local gym, over at Exeter Fitness, and I was curling hundreds, like just casually curling the 100-pound dumbbells and stuff. And people were just gawking at me like I was a freak of nature. And I'm like,
Right.
yeah. And that person came up to me, and the dude looked like he was in great shape. He's like, man, I've never seen anyone as strong as you in my life. Like, why aren't you doing something with it? I thought, well, I just never really kind of got into it. So I continued to follow the Instagram people, and Leroy started doing videos on doing the strict curl. I thought, well, hey, I have pretty strong arms. I wonder how much I could do. So I just kind of, I watched some different videos. I watched a YouTube tutorial, and then I popped on like 200 pounds, and I tried doing it. Horrible form, but I got it. And right then and there, people were like, holy moly, where's this guy come from, And I had no previous experience as far as like the strict curling. I didn't know anything about technique or forms or the type of exercises. So I started reaching out to people online for coaching, and eventually Vladimir, my coach from Ukraine, he reached out to me and he offered to help me and just kind of like give me some tips, and I started reaching out to some of the other elite people like Cooper and just the best of the best, and they all kind of gave me insight to technique and stuff, and so I started kind of training. And I at the time I was doing wide grip, so I just did what I thought I could do, and I started working, and then my first meet was in Connecticut, where I got to meet Patrick and Joe in person, and I hit 190 at my first official meet, which isn't too shabby for a first meet, ever doing wide grip with not a whole lot of experience,
That's insane.
so yeah, I went there and it blew my mind because everyone was like, "Oh wow!" Like, and it just all came really quickly, and it was a little overwhelming at first, because again, this it just came really quick, and of course, I was asking people for tips and stuff. And one of the great things about strict curling is it's like a brotherhood and sisterhood of people that are just they'll help you. Everyone's super nice, and so I started practicing, and I started actually working with Patrick for a while. Doing some workouts and different things like that. And it was really tough for me using the OBZ bar because I'm a really big dude. I'm wide and I have the narrow the like the grip was very difficult because I tried to convert from wide grip to close grip, and it literally felt like my wrists were going to break every single time that I lifted. And it was really tough on the wrists, and I didn't feel like I had as much power as I could. Even a lot there, I
Right.
wasn't like utilizing everything that I could. So lo and behold, Leroy and Gopher kind of pop into the picture, and I got a Gopher bar, almost probably for within a week or two after, some of the elite people were getting them. I purchased an OBZ bar as well, so I had my own bar that I could work with. But when I got the Gopher bar, the grip was like just absolutely amazing. Like it helps my wrist so much better, you know and so, I hit my first meet, and then I went out to CT Fletcher's meet in California. And at that time, I was still doing the Y grip. So I competed there, and it was really awesome getting to meet one of my idols, and just kind of hanging out with the guy. And he was such a motivation. And there's nothing like, being on the platform and having one of your idols there, like rooting for you to lift it. And so they used a different bar than the OBZ 33. They used the OBZ 55, which is a little bit better as far as the wrist.
Right.
But the Go by far has been the best bar that I've used. So after I started using the Gopher bar, I started to prep for my next meet, and then I got COVID, and like, COVID knocked my butt out. I couldn't lift for like 3 weeks, and then I finally kind of got back into it and hit my meet. I wasn't prepared. My nutrition was off, and everything, and I just went to that meet. So in the meantime, I found out I qualified for Mr. America, and that was huge for me because I was like, wow, going from never doing something like this to being at Mr. America. I wanted to go there just to go there as the expo, just to be
Oh,
able.
you mean the Arnold, right?
Sorry, got mixed up.
Yeah,
The
it's all good.
Arnold,
Yeah.
yeah, the Arnold, and
Yeah, that
that
was
was like
huge.
so bad. But then I was like, wow, I'm going to be a competitor there. Like I'm actually going to be competing and getting to meet some of these people, and I'm going to be, compete, with them. It's like a dream come true. So I started to prep, and then unfortunately, I had a really bad injury where I tore my quadricep muscle, and I had to have it surgically repaired, which put me out for a long time. I couldn't stand, I couldn't move around very well. I had to go through the whole physical therapy thing, um, you know, and I'm still, dealing with stuff with that, even though I'm able to, do a lot more than I was able to. So I continued to work with the Gopher, and like I was just hitting a stride right before I got injured. So it was huge. It was such a disappointment. And I was so disappointed that, I was starting to make progression and starting to hit some of the higher numbers, and because of the injury, it just really set me back. So I had to kind of like start from scratch, work my way back up. I kept working with it. My forearms getting stronger, and the next thing you know, I'm starting to hit some weights that are pretty decent, And like to me, it kind of feels like it's just the tip of the iceberg, because like I feel like there's much more there, and there's a lot of technical things that I'm still working on because I just hit my 1 year mark. It was like yesterday, I think I got one of those Facebook notices or, that it's your 1 year mark. It was from the summer bash, I believe it was,
Wow.
or the Friday the 13th
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Yeah.
what it was.
Yep.
And like, wow, from never doing this before in 1 year, getting to where I'm at now, and, you know, and I'm hitting some numbers that have never been hit before, you know,
Starting to
and
scare some people, yeah.
again, like
Turning a lot of heads for sure.
yeah, and like again, like I'm still learning, you
Yeah.
know. I
Yeah.
know like people like Cooper and Knox and you know those guys, they've been doing it for a long time, and you know they progress, they've continued to progress. So no, that's going to happen with me. You know, like one of my coaches in high school told me yard by yard is hard, but inch by inch is a cinch. I know it's kind of kind of cheesy, but I kind of look at that like small steps. But you keep getting those small steps, and then over time you hit that goal. You know, well you hit a big number. So I started doing the high numbers, and I'm now going to Mr. America, and gonna hopefully qualify for the Arnold and also the Olympia hopefully, and it's just awesome. It's such an awesome feeling.
Joe, congratulations, because, in the beginning, and I'm a guy that just calls it like it is. I remember calling Strict Curl Joe and saying, man, you know what? Like, he's struggling inside. We're converting him inside, and he's going through the pain, right? And part of it is and I know doctors wouldn't want to hear this. Part of it is you got to suck it up at some point. You got to figure out what do you really want, And when you get a guy that's just so massive like that, usually you get a stretch on these forearms after a while, and things start to break in. And he would be giving me feedback that it's literally like I'm picking up the bar and it feels like two steak knives going through me, And I knew when he hit that gopher bar, things would take off. And where I'm going with this is we don't know what this guy's ceiling is. He took 210, I believe, at KPC. And I know your foot was over the line or something like that. And that's just so fixable. But it was like water. It was like water. I mean, like I evaluated that bar speed, and I'm like, I think he can do 220. I think he can curl 220 right now. So there's an excitement within the super heavyweights and also the strict curl community, because everybody knows how humble you are, but they also know what a rookie you are, right? And these are compliments, I mean, to be a rookie yoking the numbers that you are and the weights that you are, you become an enormous threat in this sport. You become a worry for people, like you're right in there with the mix now. What do you lack? And you'll admit this. Anybody that's watching knows. I think you just talked about 3 meets. 3 meets,
yeah.
Right? You've been to 3 fucking meets. Like this is exactly how you're supposed to feel and be. Like, you're supposed to have reds. You're supposed to do things like that. You know what I mean? I honestly think you're going to shock a lot of people. You really are. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and predict where this thing goes, but you are like in the infant stage of this. I can't imagine what year 2 looks like. I can't imagine after you get 5 meets, 6 meets, 10 meets, 15 meets under your belt. You know what I mean? I think you learned a tremendous amount at TFAB's meet on how to hold your water, how to get yourself motivated, right? How to work in that environment, I think you carried over to KPC. And the thing I often tell people, someone was asking me the other day, this guy right now doesn't have leg drive. They fucking sewed his quad back onto his femur. He can't even push with his hips and his legs yet. Your trunk is enormous. I can't imagine when you put the whole package together and really get this injury behind you and you start to use your lower body and your core to curl. Oh my God, dude, you may be the next showstopper. You may be the next showstopper, the Big Show Joe. I tell you what, I am so goddamn excited to see you at Mr. America. I can't wait. the matchup between you and Wyatt is going to surprise a lot of people. I think a lot of people thought, oh, well, it won't get as big as Wyatt and Leroy. And then all of a sudden, when you hit that 210, if I'm correct, 210 at KPC, even though it wasn't good, when you watch that 210, anybody that's in the curling game, any strength coach with any fucking clue would know this bar speed's out of control. And there is so much more in there. So, you know, you hung in there. You've been through adversity. You hung in there, right? And you're learning. You get your platform presence down, and you learn how to handle those environments. You know, you're going to be a great one, brother. You're going to be a great one. You're going to be a great one. There's no doubt about it. And you also are slowly but surely winning people over, man. You know, you're winning people over.
Yeah.
I'll give you an image. You know, this guy just finishes at TFAB's meet. It's 100 degrees in the room. He's sitting Indian style, right? Nobody's left in the facility. He's sitting there Indian style eating, and me and TFAB and Nikki are way behind him when we're looking over, and someone says, well, what's he doing? And I'm like, well, what do you mean? You've never seen a 450-pound fourth grader sit Indian style? You know, it was like the coolest thing. Here you were just exhausted and victorious and taking it all in, and you're just sitting in the middle of the room and a monster of a human being. And Joe, I got to ask you a few questions because we got to stay on track, so we got to get out of here in a few minutes. But
yeah,
what is your body weight right now?
I'd say it's probably around 420. You know, I haven't been able to find a scale that, you know, has been able to actually weigh me. And I think it's hilarious because I go to all these meets to do like the weigh-ins and stuff. It's like, I know I'm going to be a super heavyweight, you know, but yeah, no, it's about 420, I would say right now. I definitely put on some weight. You know, I've been working really hard, you know, making sure hitting all that protein and just really working my ass off. And I'm telling you what, I'm coming like a freight train. You know, I'm motivated.
Oh, I didn't expect that, humble Joe. Well, wait a minute. I love this. We got a little more time now. I like this. You're coming like a fucking freight train. Slow down a minute.
Dude.
Let me ask you something.
Are
you ready for the juggernaut? Do you feel you can take him down?
Oh, I'm going to do my best. And, you know, he's an awesome competitor, you know, and I look up to him. He's awesome. Like one of the people that I kind of like looked up to when I first started getting into the sport. But, you know, one of the things that I really like, I'm not the kind of guy, like I'm not disrespectful. I'm not like arrogant. I'm not like the kind that'll
clearly.
No, you're not.
Right.
I'm not the kind of dude. Very nice dude, and I'm willing to help out. My goal is to do best that I can do and help others achieve their best as well. So like I will, even though I'm still kind of a rookie, you know, if people come up to me and ask for help, I'll tell them when I can. And, you know, hey, you know, it's a sport that we work together. You know, I'll be super happy if like I want to hit PRs. You know, if I break world records, I break world records.
So listen. I don't want you to be super nice. I want you to keep this edge, brother. This is a great matchup, and you need this, man. You need this. I want to get you out of your shell. I want you to get off the sidewalk and run in the middle of the road. That's what I want you to do from now until Mr. America. That's what makes this fun. That's what makes the sport fun. And deep down inside, man, that's a little bit of what the people want to see. So I freaking love what you just said, man. Don't worry. I'm not going to stir up controversy, but we want to see that side of you. It took me 32 minutes to get that side of you out, man. 32 minutes, man. Listen, big show, Joe. Great story.
You definitely had that edge to you at the end of the KPC meet after you curled that weight. I saw that. That was awesome, man.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I don't know if they just make them different in PA, but man, there are a hell of a lot of strong curlers in PA. I don't know if you realize that, but like there's so many.
You know what? Like, I remember back when I first started, the goal was like, oh, I got to hit 200, 200. That was always like the thing. And I never thought that, I thought I'd be able to like get 200. Now I'm like repping it out, with 200, and like the sky's the limit, man. Yeah.
He
Don't
doesn't
give
care,
your
man. He don't
keep it
care.
down. Keep it down. Don't give your secret. Don't give your numbers up. Two quick things, okay? I want one word answer, okay? And I'm not putting you on the spot. There's no right or wrong. I'm going to name 3 athletes, and I just want you to give me one word that would describe them, okay? Ready? The juggernaut.
Competitive.
Cooper.
Legendary.
That's a good one.
Gary Teeter.
Fun.
Ruskin.
Powerhouse.
Last one, T-Fab.
Awesome.
Great answer. Great answer, bro. Hey, you've been fun, man. We appreciate you. You've been fun. Now, listen, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the Avengers have put a challenge out. The Avengers have put a challenge out to the Juggernaut, the Big Show Joe, and the Machine. All right. So on Thursday, we're going to get you all back on. They've already committed. Max is in, Bruce is in, Cooper's in. The Juggernaut's in. Will you be on Thursday again with us to talk about this?
Well, yeah, I'll definitely talk about it. But you know what's really, I think the issue that we got to think about a little bit more is we got to think about a team name, like maybe like the Fat Pack or something, so we can like kick their ass, because that's what's going to happen. We're just gonna destroy them. Even like a piece of pizza or something.
Joe, man, you've been a lot of fun, a lot of great compliments. And you know what? People are all right. You are an unbelievable human being. You are a kind man. You are a gentle giant. Humble son of a gun. You've been through some adversity, man. You told me once, you looked me dead in the eyes and you said, Coach Russo, I'm going to be the best in the world in this. That's a true story. You said that to me. Follow your heart, follow your vision. You're making me a believer, brother. You're making a lot of people a believer. Stay grounded, right? And every once in a while, bring that hell out. I like it. I had fun tonight with you. Thank you. We really appreciate your time, man. The audience appreciates your time. I can't wait for the matchup. And we'll talk to the Big Show Joe again on Thursday.
All right. Sounds great.
Have a great night, brother. We'll see you soon, man.
Thank you, guys.
You got it,
Thanks
brother.
so much. Appreciate it.